So Renee is asking if I could give details and specifics on how I modified my scroll frame stand to be able to hold a 5-foot wide tapestry piece that I'm working on. Hi, my name is Elle. I'm a cross-stitch artist and designer, and let's talk about it. I've been meaning to make this video and talk about this for a while now, so thank you very, very much for leaving this comment. I'm sorry it took me so long to get around to making this video. So before I get started on explaining the actual modifications I made, I just wanted to give you an overview of what the entire thing looks like so you get an idea of what I mean when I say I expanded this to fit a very large tapestry piece. The very first modifications that we made were actually to these two bars that actually hold the piece while you're making it. So here are a couple different pieces of traditional scroll frame, those bars that hold on to the edges of your cross stitching. So this one, the piece is split almost all the way across in one direction. And so you would clamp your piece of fabric down in between this. And then this would get put through another piece of wood and then clamped down onto that to hold this nice and tight. This is the one that actually came with this scroll frame before we modified it. But as you can see, this piece of like PVC that goes around this was not going to be anywhere near large enough to hold on to the amount of fabric that I needed it to hold on to. So all we did was we did a dowel and just masking taped the piece of fabric to it. So down here on this end, you can see we just took masking tape and attached it to the bottom of the dowel down here. So the first thing we did is we cut 2 pieces of dowel longer than we needed. And then we put one of those bolt things through the end of the dowel on each side on all 4 of the ends. From there, we stuck it through the existing holes. This is part that came with the scroll frame we bought, and put wing nuts on the side to hold it all together. So that was the very first modification that we did. Once we had all of this attached together and attached to this piece, again, this piece came with it. This is the next thing that we had to cut to length, but we needed to wait to cut it until we knew exactly how big this was going to be once it was fit in here, because you can see there is an extra space here. So from there, we measured from here across and cut our piece of wood to reach all the way across there to brace it at the bottom. Did the same thing where we drilled those bolt pieces in and then did a wing nut through the side, just like that. The third modification we did is these triangle pieces, and they ended up being necessary because of how much fabric I have hanging onto the back of this. Give me a second and I'll show you what happens when I don't have these triangle pieces here to brace this and hold this piece. So this is about the angle that you need your piece to sit at so you can actually stitch and work on it. But if I let go of it, gravity takes over because this is so heavy. So we needed something that was going to brace it and hold it down. So all we did was we took some paint stir sticks or something along those lines, paint stir sticks, and we cut some holes in them and we leveled it out and we put this bolt thing through here so that I can do it one-handed, I promise. It rests on top of here to hold it down, and then there's another one on the other side that does the same thing. So with both of those in place, it does hold the piece in place so I can actually stitch. And I know people have said, oh, what happens when, you need to flip it over or anything? I can actually still flip this over, and then instead of the bolt resting on top, now the piece is going to be resting on top, and it's still not going to let gravity take over, just like that. The final thing that we did that is not going to be necessary for everyone is we did take this spare piece of scrap wood and we did bolt this onto the side as well, so that I had a little place for my camera to mount onto, because there wasn't really a way for this to mount onto the actual tapestry frame itself. I will be moving this over to the other side once I get closer to the other side, and this camera won't be able to reach all the way over there. This is movable, or we'll just add another one over to the other side. The scroll frame that we like took the bones from and then modified, we ordered on Amazon. There's a link in my bio called My Supplies List, and I do have a link to the actual one that I got to start with. I believe it was in like the $45 range. And like I said, we went to the hardware store. What we needed was 2 really long dowels. We needed a brace piece for the bottom, and then we needed those like single-sided bolts. They don't have a head on them. I don't remember what they're called. And then we needed wing nuts, a couple of paint stir sticks, and then some power tools. This is light enough that I can like pick it up and move it around the room, no problem, by myself. But if I was trying to navigate it like up a staircase or something like that, even through a doorway, I might need some help, just because it's so big and awkward, not because it's heavy. I hope that helps, and if you end up modifying your own scroll frame, I would love to see how you did it and what you did with yours. Happy stitching!